afternoon. Our democracy works because our nation's commitment to the rule of law, the faith of its citizens, have that elections will be fair, transparent, and that all legal votes...
I don't think that mic's on.
I don't think there are.
There is no mic. You guys just speak up.
There's no mic for the folks.
That all the votes will be counted. Unfortunately, it's becoming a process. And the employees who then covered the windows of the TCF Center to conceal the truth. What else could they be hiding? Jocelyn Benson ran on a promise to be transparent, and this election has been anything but transparent. We are also highly disturbed by the fact that the Secretary of State was unable to tell voters how many votes were left to be counted, often citing figures which had no apparent basis in reality. I don't understand. It's simple math. I don't believe it's unreasonable for the people of Michigan to expect the Secretary of State to report within a few hours the total number of ballots cast. Woo! Repeatedly in interviews with the media, Secretary of State Benson continued to state that there were about 100,000 ballots to be counted, despite the fact that tens of thousands of ballots continued to be added to the city's total and that those interviews were hours apart. In addition, it should not have been difficult to find this number, seeing municipalities are required to report how many absentee ballots they have received. Simple math should have made it easy to know how many absentee ballots needed to be counted. Jocelyn Benson has repeatedly tried to dismiss these allegations of election irregularities across the state, just like she tried to use legal threats in October to bury the Michigan Republican Party story about malfunctioning election equipment in the city of Lansing. A story proven true by the press. If all this wasn't enough, in Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity. Antrim County had to hand count all of the ballots, and these counties that use this software need to closely examine their results for similar discrepancies. The people of Michigan deserve a transparent and open process. Voters deserve to know that all legal votes are being counted. And the Michigan Republican Party will continue to fight to make sure that this stops occurring in our state.
Thank you.
I do want to add, if you have any information about any specific situations, we encourage people to email SAVEVOTE, S-A-V-E, at migop.org, or you can call 87-SAVE-VOTE. That's 877-283-8683. Thank you very much, and it's my honor to bring our national committee, our RNC chairwoman, Rhonda McDaniel, to share her comments. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Laura Cox, for your leadership in the great state of Michigan, my home state. And we, of course, want to make sure that every legal vote is counted. And we have seen some discrepancies in Michigan and some irregularities that deserve investigation. Democrats and the media spent 4 years and millions of taxpayer dollars talking about a Russia hoax on the grounds of election integrity. Now, with just over 48 hours after polls have closed in an actual election for president, they want to ignore clear irregularities, rush to call states as one, and end this election. We will not stand for that. Every candidate in every office, from president down to the local level, has a legal right to challenge irregularities that occur in the process of canvassing ballots. We intend to ensure that every lawful voter has their vote counted in accordance with the law, that observers are granted the access they are due under state law, and that any irregularities that have occurred, whether by malicious intent or incompetence, are fully investigated to the fullest extent allowed under the law. We will not give up on this process until every last issue has been resolved. Today we announce that the RNC has deployed legal teams in 4 states, including Michigan, to investigate clear irregularities with vote counting and tabulation in those states. They will work with state and local authorities to ensure that a legal count is conducted in accordance to each state's laws and that every vote is counted. It is crazy to us that the media would call a race like Arizona for Biden when our side still has enough votes to win. But in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, where in some cases the margin is only a few thousand votes, the media is quick to try and claim those races are over and Biden has won. If the shoe was on the other foot, President Trump was in the lead in all these states, the media would be screaming that the race is not over and we need more time to count and make sure it was right. But because Biden is in a very slight lead, the media demands the race is over and there is nothing to see here. The American people need to have confidence in our elections. Right now, we don't have that because across the country, Democrat officials are shutting down transparency, especially here in the state of Michigan. Democrats are damaging the country in the process of a smooth transition of power by not allowing a transparent process. Right here in Michigan, just last night in Oakland County, we found 2,000 ballots that had been given to Democrats that were Republican ballots due to a clerical error, and this took place in Rochester Hills. In Wayne County, Republican poll watchers were denied their legal right to monitor the election and purposely kept in the dark, both literally and figuratively, with poll workers blocking windows and padlocking doors. There are hundreds of reports of our poll watchers being intimidated and unable to do their job. There was a major software issue in Antrim County that we have concerns could have caused problems in other counties as well. This issue was brought to our attention by Congressman Bergman's office when they noticed the results being drastically different from what they expected and what they had received from that county in past elections. When they inquired with the clerk, they were told it was a software issue and it was corrected. But now we know that 47 counties use that same software. At the TCF Center in Wayne County, we have received over 100 incident reports of irregularities. This is a massive mail ballot counting center, and we need time to go through these reports and investigate them. Here's an example of just one of them. On November 3rd and 4th, a whistleblower was assigned to work on problem ballots in the TCF Center Adjudication Center. This is not a Republican poll worker. This is an actual election worker. A bundle of ballots with no receive date were brought to the whistleblower. The ballots should not have been immediately counted because there was no evidence. The ballots were received by the state-mandated deadline of November 3rd. On the morning of November 4th, whistleblower was instructed by their supervisor to take the ballots with no dates, enter them into the electronic record, and place either November 2nd or November 3rd as the date received. This is illegal. This whistleblower was uncomfortable entering the dates on the ballots with no evidence. They were received on either of those dates. Election workers became angry at the whistleblower and blocked this individual from the process. According to the whistleblower, all election workers were given this same guidance. Reportedly, one of the individuals was a contractor, a city contractor, and former director of elections, Chris Thomas. These allegations have been referred to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Michigan. We have heard other instances of election workers verbally accosting our poll watchers and refusing to let us challenge questionable ballots. Election workers were wearing Biden shirts and applauding when our poll watchers were removed from the counting facility. Of the few ballots that Democrat election workers did allow us to challenge, our observers say Those ballots were then moved back into the regular pile after our poll watchers were intimidated and pushed from the process. Finally, our campaigns have also not yet been able to view video surveillance of ballot drop boxes and have meaningful transparency over that process. This is our democracy.
Yeah.
To see people not be able to observe in Democrat-run cities across the nation is not okay. We need to pursue these irregularities, and we need people to be patient and give us the time to investigate. These are serious allegations of changing the date on ballots and refusing to let people observe in a meaningful way an election of this magnitude. To see our leaders in Michigan not step forward, Jocelyn Benson, Gretchen Whitmer, to allow our poll workers to observe this election has caused further uncertainty. We will pursue all of these irregularities. Please give us time to do that, because it is concerning and every vote matters. The fight is not over. President Trump will continue to fight for us, and we will continue to fight for him. And I just want to add one other thing. As the canvasses are taking place right now, we are still being prevented from having meaningful access to observe the process. We call on Secretary of State Benson and Governor Whitmer to allow our canvassers or our watchers to be able to have a meaningful presence in these canvases so that we can have a surety that this is a fair and free election. This is important for all of us. To support the president, you can visit GOP.com to donate, or if you see signs of voter irregularities, and we literally have a hotline with hundreds and hundreds of complaints coming in, we will track each of them down, vet them, make sure they are credible, and please report them to DJT45.stopfraud or 888-630-1776. Thank you for your time, and I would love to take a few questions.
We're going to take the first two from Craig and Malachi, and then we'll open it up from there.
Great.
Yep, and then Malachi.
Chairwoman,